Final game in the Midwest brings us second seed Tennessee against Wofford, 15 seed. Wofford wasn't really expected to be here. Ended up coming out of the SoCon, taking down Furman in the conference championship. Tennessee lost in the SEC championship to Florida, but still a 2 seed, had a great season, 27-7 up to this point, and obviously still relying heavily on their defense. That's really where they make all their money, right? They don't play a fast pace offensively, rely heavily on their defense, their physicality. The spearhead of their defense and Zakai Ziegler just pounding people, pounding these guards. And I don't expect that to change here against the Wofford team that is like not great, I guess, taking care of the ball. Like they're middle of the pack taking care of the ball. Like not that Tennessee has turned teams over a ton, but I think that they can prey on weaker competition here and speed them up, force them into taking some shots and turn the ball over a little bit. That I consider like some bad shots by some of these teams to just be as good as turnovers. So I think that number from Tennessee is a bit misleading in terms of the turnovers they force, because they do force a ton of bad shots because their defense is so good. So I think Tennessee's defense is really what's going to carry them here. And, as we all know, always carries them throughout the tournament or as far as they go.
Yeah, I mean, this Tennessee defense really has no weaknesses. They're third in adjusted efficiency per Torvik. They defend the interior extremely well. They defend the perimeter well. I mean, 29th in 2-point defense, first in the country in 3-point defense. And they give up a ton of threes, but they guard pretty much every three that's attempted. And yeah, Wofford will attempt a lot of threes. They're not super efficient in that area. They really create their value on the glass on both ends. And I guess they could have some success on the offensive glass against a Tennessee team that's outside the top 200 in defensive rebound rate. They're not the most daunting front line from a strength perspective. They have a lot of rim protection, but they're not super, super physical. Like Okpara and Milicic aren't the scariest front line, but it's across the board, there's a lot of physicality. The perimeter arguably has more physicality than the interior, which is a kind of an interesting thing to say. But yeah, I don't think Wofford has a ton of legs here to win this game. Tennessee's defense can kind of just swallow you up. One thing that's very unique about Wofford and is going to be kind of funny to watch is Kyler Filwich, his 32% free throw percentage at the line, and he shoots the Rick Barry underhand style free throw. I just think if you're shooting 32% with a granny free throw, probably need to try to just shoot overhand. That would kind of make sense. You're shooting a unique style and it's not working. If it was unique and it was working, you could shoot at least 65%. Maybe you could keep doing it. He's shooting 33%. I think at this point he's kind of just doing it for publicity. I think it's a little bit selfish on his part, but either way, it's definitely going to be funny to watch, and it's going to be all over the internet once he takes his first free throw in the game against Tennessee. He gets to the line a decent amount, so it's pretty likely to happen. They do run a lot of offense through him. I mean, he has a 24% assist rate at the center position, so it seems like they're playing a lot of inside out. They'll play through him in the high post, and I just don't really think the shooters on this team they really have the ability to go off in a game and really light it up. Nobody on this roster is shooting 40% from three, so I don't really think they have the upside to really get it going against a Tennessee team that'll give up a lot of threes. So overall, I just don't see Wofford having much of a chance in this game against a physical Tennessee team.
Yeah, no, and I also think offensively for Tennessee here, Wofford gives up a ton of threes. They're almost the bottom of the country in terms of giving up threes, and this I think could be a game where we see Chaz Lanier really get going. Right, I feel like in particular he kind of preys on some of the weaker competition can really get going in some of these games. Sometimes against some of the stronger competition, they really take him away. But I think in these games against weaker competition, which, it's no secret, it's what he's used to playing at North Florida previously to Tennessee, right? I think this is a game where he could really get going, especially where they give up a lot of threes. So I'm definitely looking forward, though, to your point about the underhand free throw. I just don't understand, 32%. Like, you could probably shoot with your weak hand and make more than that, I would think.
With a blindfold on.
Like, it's literally a free throw. You're unguarded. It boggles my mind, these guys that can't make free throws. It drives me mad, really.
I can understand like shooting 55 to 60. It's like, okay, like there's a mechanical issue, like we can get it fixed, but you're shooting 32% shooting granny free throws. Like, please just try to shoot overhand. I guarantee you could probably shoot 40%. Unless it's just like, unless his shoulders are just broken. I don't really know. It's just
I could go into like a 30-minute rant about free throws and why I don't understand, with the thousands and thousands of free throws these guys take.
And you can practice them all day too. So
like how you just can't get to a point where you can figure it out to be sufficient, at least a little bit, but whatever. I could go on and on, but anyway, I think Tennessee here, much like you, I think Tennessee's defense just takes care of business, regardless of Wofford's advantage maybe on the offensive glass. I think they do enough, force enough turnovers, physical enough on the perimeter to where, Wofford's just uncomfortable, and ultimately they move on to the second round.